Invite a friend, tell them come on in. Invite a friend, tell them come on in.
Which perhaps is why you're so drawn to it. You always have a tendency to chase the imagined.
We do that, so don't waste much
Well, we all chase the imagined to some extent. I am still expecting to see your father around every corner. But I also know reality is where love grows. Reality.
Invite a friend, tell them come on in. Please do. Gonna be kind of quick.
There will be when you will find a spark. Young ladies want to come in silver or otherwise.
I lost that round regardless for the time I would use it.
You are fascinating.
I know you want to break this set. I wish to be
I was trying to go live on
families work close and personal.
Instagram, but I'm having some problems, so I have to just record it and sit it over there. I'll figure this out. How you guys doing? We are officially 32 days into the new year. 32 days into the new year. How many of you guys have kept up with your resolutions? How many of you guys have kept up with your resolutions? You know, every year, December 31st, we tell ourselves we're going to do something different. What have you been doing different this year than last year? Make a comment. Even though it's only been 32 days, it only takes one day to change your life. One moment to change your life. Comment below. Have you started that podcast? Start creating content. Looking for a better job, trying to make more income. Trying to move into a better community. Well, what are some of the things that you've been pursuing since January 1st? So I'm going to keep this short. We're actually kicking off our podcast. My wife and I are going to kick off our podcast this month, February. And we actually have several podcasts that we're going to be doing. Of course, one is going to be credit repair, credit funding, personal funding, business funding. That's definitely one of them. But my wife and I, we have an age gap relationship. She's a Gen Z. So we're going to talk about how we make our relationship work, even though it's an age gap relationship, you know, and some of the ups and downs of that. Also, we're going to be discussing, you know, ways of creating more income. Because a lot of problems that we have are not problems if it could be solved with money. If you have problems that can be solved with money, it's not a problem. You just have to find a solution. You know what I'm saying? Either you got to practice financial discipline. You have to create more income. That's the reason why my wife and I are creating all these different podcasts. We're going to have like maybe 3 different podcasts that we're launching, you know what I'm saying, from home. You know, we bought all the equipment. We got a professional coming in. He's going to be our producer. He's going to be our director. The only thing we have to do is create the content, which is pretty easy for us. But today I want to talk about credit and credit repair because I know one of the number one or top 5 things people always say when it comes to the new year is I want to fix my credit. That's one of the first things people say coming into the new year. I want to fix my credit. So I want to talk about a couple of things when it comes to credit. Some of the most common questions that we get all the time. And one of the common questions that we get here at Pleasant Management is, what are the trade lines? And trade lines used to be really, really effective, just up until maybe a year, 18 months ago. Trade lines were really, really effective way of increasing your credit score, especially when you had bad credit. And basically what a trade line is, it could be a relative, or they have a lot of outside companies that sell trade lines. It's basically someone who owns a credit card that has 10% usage on that credit card, meaning, let's say I have a $30,000 credit card and I've only spent $2,000 or $3,000 on the credit card. I would add a person as an authorized user on my credit card, so they would get all the positiveness off the credit card. You would get the age of the card, you would get the utilization, and it would increase your credit score. But what has happened is this. Creditors are able to see the trade line on your credit report because it's going to say authorized user. And they have technology now that can disregard that authorized user card and come up with your true credit score. So let's say with an authorized user with a trade line, your credit score is a 730. You're trying to get an apartment, you're trying to buy a car, but that creditor says, hey, look, let's remove all of these authorized users off his credit report and see what the true credit score is. And once they remove the trade lines, your credit score may be up 590, 600. You may not qualify for whatever you're trying to apply for. And the same goes for not only just trade lines, but I see a lot of people talking about CPNs again. There's this emergence of CPNs. And let me be clear, CPNs are illegal. You can go on TikTok, type in CPN nightmares. CPNs are absolutely illegal. Why are they illegal? Because on any financial document that you sign, it's going to ask for your social security number. And I've heard some of the so-called best of the best in the credit field and the financial field. I've even heard some of them say, put your EIN number there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't put your social security number there. Put your EIN number there. Like, any number you put on that line other than your social security number, you are committing wire fraud, bank fraud, and in some cases, money laundering. Because if you're trying to get a loan for something, they consider that to be money laundering. So you're looking at bank fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering, and all of those can carry up to 20 plus years in federal prison if you put any number other than your social security number. So CPNs are absolutely illegal. The next question I get a lot is, what's the difference between a credit card and a secure card? A credit card is a card that you apply for, and after review, they give you a limit on the card. In some cases, it could be as less as 300. In some cases, it could be as much as 30,000. But your credit score dictates not just your credit score, but your credit profile and your credit score dictates how much a lender is willing to give you on a credit card. And a credit card can increase every 91 days. You ask for a credit card increase every 91 days. I've done it personally with a Capital One card. I started off with a $500 credit limit, and within 2.5 years, it became $15,000 because I kept applying for credit line increases every 91 days. It went from 500 to 1,500 to 2,000 to 31 to they just went on up from there. A secure card is something that we recommend to clients with bad credit. What a secure card is, or what some people call a subprime card is, you're taking your money and you're putting your money on a card. You're not losing any money other than the fees. And you have to be real careful on which secure card that you choose, because some of these secure cards charge a monthly fee. A monthly fee. Indigo card. Indigo card charges you. I think the first. And this is the sad part about Indigo. Indigo is only going to give you like a $300 limit. All right, and their fee is like $19 a month just to have their card. You got to be real careful which secure card that you use. We do have some suggestions here at Pleasant Management that are some pretty good secure cards. And there are secure cards like Navy Federal, for instance. Navy Federal has a secure card that after 90, maybe 120 days of using the card correctly, the card unsecures, they put the money back in your account and it becomes a credit card. So it's strategies when it comes to dealing with credit. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, you clean my credit up, my score goes up. No, that's not true. Sometimes you can clean your credit up and your score actually goes down. So it's not true that your score will go up just because you erase the negatives off your credit. Sometimes your credit score will go down because you're losing a lot of the factors that make up credit. All right, another question we have is, what is the biggest impact on credit? Well, it's 5 factors when it comes to credit. What makes up a complete credit report is 5 factors. But the biggest impact on credit, and the reason why we've had clients that's been with us for, 2+ years, 3 years, is because of late payments. Late payments is maybe the single most impactful thing on your credit report. Because with one late payment, you can lose anywhere from 50 to 100 points just from a late payment. And when it comes to a late payment, it's really about being responsible. I tell a lot of our clients, if you can, put those credit card bills, your bills, put them on auto pay. You don't have to worry about a late payment. Just put them on auto pay if you can. If you can't, almost every one of those apps have reminders. Set a reminder a week before the payment due. Hey, your Citibank bill is coming up, or this is coming up. Like, set a reminder for yourself to where you don't have a late payment, because remember, it takes 30 to 31 days for it to become a late payment. So you got 31 days to make this payment before it hits your credit report. But that is the single most impactful, harmful thing on your credit report is a late payment. I could deal with anything else on the credit report except a late payment, because some people say they can remove late payments. We've been successful if you got one, but you're like constantly sending letters. You're constantly begging. I mean, literally begging for them to remove the late payment. You're giving them a sob story. Hey, look, I really need to remove this. I'm trying to buy a house. I'm trying to buy a car. This late payment is preventing me from moving forward in life. And some creditors would take a late payment off if you have one. But if you have multiple late payments, you got to wait 2 years. You got to wait 2 years from the date of the late payment for it to come off. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That late payment is not going anywhere. Don't let anybody lie to you. It's not going anywhere. The last one is going back to the trade lines. Before you purchase a trade line, speak to someone that's credible. Because, again, not all trade lines are going to work. Just because you add a trade line, that does not mean it's going to work. And I hate for people to lose their money. They go out here and they trust these different people to do certain things for them. And they sell them this dream about what they can do for them, and they end up not being able to do it. So do your homework before dealing with trade lines. Understand that some things that are too good to be true probably is too good to be true. I've had clients just in the last 6 months that got burnt spending hundreds and even thousands of dollars on a trade line because they were trying to reach a particular score, not knowing that these new algorithms and with AI, these companies are able to get your true score. So the best thing to do, again, my suggestion, have someone work on your credit, remove the negatives. While they're removing the negatives, they should be teaching you how to create new positive, real trade lines, meaning secure cards, on your credit report. And another thing before I leave, that Kickoff, what's the other one? Kickoff, Affirm, all these self-lending apps, they don't work. Experian, they don't work. They don't work. Again, just like trade lines, lenders can see that you have Kickoff on your credit report. They can see that you have Affirm on your credit report. They see that you have these apps that build your credit. Even when it comes to rent reporters, they see you have rent reporters on your credit report. And because people have oversaturated the market with the same information, they're able, again, through technology, to disregard all those on your credit report and come up with a true score. So that's all I want to share with you today. I will see you tomorrow. And the podcast kicks off this month. Please support. We're going to try to go hard. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.